Ready for an adventure? I am! Yay! I'm so happy!
Greetings ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mangs and I welcome you guys to yet another Fire Emblem Fates character spotlights. Most of you probably saw this coming, but it's not like the requests weren't plentiful enough already. It's time to round up the spotlight bundle on the Nohrian royal family with everyone's favorite pair of cinnamon rolls, Elise.
I want to get stronger so I can protect the people I love.
Elise is the youngest daughter of King Garon of Nor, making her the princess of the nation. With her mother being one of Garon's many concubines, she is the half-sister to Leo, Camilla, and Sander. We do not actually know that many details about her upbringing, as the game doesn't really tell us all that much about it, but we know that she was not raised by her mother, but rather wet-nursed by a woman called Casita. She was also watched over by her siblings, and thus she arguably had a much better upbringing than the rest of the Nohrian royal family. At some point during her childhood, Elise got tired of being confined to the palace and, much like Corin, wanted to see the outside world. So she snuck out on her own and somehow found her way into the underground city below Nor. There she met a young Effie, and the two of them spent the entire day playing in the streets. However, at some point they got into trouble with some Nohrian guards who started to harass them, and Elise was forced to reveal her identity to make them stop. Upon learning this, they alerted the Nohrian palace guards, who came to bring Elise back, and after this incident she was prohibited from leaving the palace ever again. Many years later, Effie would show up at the palace dressed in armor, proclaiming that she had joined the military and become a knight, and Elise immediately made a decision to hire her as her retainer. Elise would also hire another retainer into her service, the self-proclaimed hero of justice Arthur. Though the game gives us absolutely no information about how the two met, we can only speculate that Arthur's heroic deeds landed him into the position. Elise is a young, cheerful girl in her early teens. She possesses the trademark blonde hair of the Nohrian royalty, but has dark pink eyes similar to Camilla, unlike the brown eyes of Sander and Leo. She wears her hair in two large pigtails that goes all the way down to her upper thighs. She dresses mostly in dark colors like the rest of her family, and wears high black boots, a skirt, and a white leather vest with heart symbols embroidered onto it. Elise is without a doubt the purest and most kind-hearted member of the Nohrian royal family. This is mainly because she is still very young, but also because, unlike the rest of her siblings, Elise grew up around people who looked after her. She had a wet nurse, which acted much like a mother figure to her, something the other Nohrian royals never had. And of course, being the youngest child in the family, she had her older siblings looking after her. Elise is in steep contrast to the rest of her family, a shining light in the deep, ominous darkness that is Nor. With a genuine desire to help others and a disdain for everything that is wicked and cruel, Elise is not weighed down by responsibilities or obligations, but instead follows her heart. As a unit, Elise is the first of the Nohrian royals to join your army in both routes she is available in. She joins in Chapter 7 of Conquest and Chapter 14 of Revelations. In Conquest, she will easily be one of your most useful units for the early and mid-game, thanks to her mounted mobility and staff utility, not to mention her ability to pop dragon veins, which is actually very crucial in that route. Elise has the highest magic growth in the entire game, and among the greatest luck and speed growths as well. Being a healer, she won't see any combat until you decide to promote her, which can be somewhere around the mid-game or even towards the late game, depending on how much you use her and whether or not you choose to early promote her or not. As a healer, she will have no difficulty stopping people off thanks to her great magic, and thanks to her insane speed and luck, her avoidance will be very good as well. She is also a magical wall, with her resistance being through the roof, so enemy magic users will not pose a threat to her at all. Being a cute little lolly has its downsides, however. With a 30% hit points and 15% defense growth, Elise is about as durable as a cinnamon roll. While magic won't phase her, most physical attacks will outright kill her, so you have to constantly check those enemy ranges to make sure none of them can reach her. This problem can be offset by giving her an angelic robe, and she certainly will appreciate the hell out of this when she eventually gets around to promoting and starts to see actual combat. But angelic robes are rare and very valuable, and there are so many other units that call call dibs on them, so it might be difficult to justify using one on her, especially considering that even after getting 7 extra hit points, Elise probably still won't survive more than a single hit in the late game. Elise's personal skill, Lilith's Poise, makes adjacent allies deal 1 extra damage but take 3 less damage. This skill is great, and it really solidifies Elise's role as a supporting unit, as she both heals her allies and passively reduces the damage they take. This skill has a weakness, however, in that placing Elise directly behind a frontline unit can be dangerous if any of the enemies have 2-range physical weapons, as they will in most cases ignore the tank and go straight for the juicy lolly, often killing her in the process. You can therefore only safely take advantage of Lilith's Poise when there are no nearby 2-range attackers, at least until Elise promotes and starts defending herself. Nevertheless though, it is still a very good skill and can absolutely save lives. At level 10, Elise will gain Demoiselle, which synergizes very well with Lilith's Poise, as the effects stack. This means that if Elise stands next to an allied male unit, she will reduce the damage she takes by 5 and increase the damage he deals by 3, which is pretty massive, especially in the early game. Using a Master Seal, Elise can promote to either a Maid or Strategists. Both are viable options, but Strategists tend to be the better choice, as it gives Elise better skills, access to tomes, and also retains her mounted mobility. Having the highest magic growth in the game means Elise will be an absolute nuclear warhead of mass destruction, and she can absolutely decimate her foes using nothing more than a simple fire tome. Once her weapon rank improves, however, and she gets access to some better weapons, Elise might suddenly become the highest damage dealer in your army. Elise will also gain Rally Resistance at level 5, which further cements her usefulness as a supporting unit that reduces the damage her allies take. And to complement this gimmick even further, she will gain Inspiration at level 15, which stacks with all of her other passive buffs. With all these fantastic tools at her disposal, Elise is amazingly useful simply by being present on the battlefield and making everyone around her better, and can additionally dish out amazing damage with tomes, easily turning her into one of the most viable and useful royals in the late game. Maid is not a bad option either, though it certainly falls short compared to Strategists, since Elise's strength growth is pretty much non-existent, and thus hidden weapons won't really do much for her. Although, if you can get your hands on the Flame Shuriken, she can absolutely deal insane amounts of damage with it. Despite that, however, the Maid's skill set doesn't really complement her all that much. Live to Serve is nice, as it means she will never need healing, but Elise will probably be walking around with 20 to 30 hit points even after promotion, meaning that she is most of the time either at full health or dead. There is seldom ever a need to heal her. Tomebreaker is also not very useful, as Elise will be one of your first units to cap resistance, meaning she pretty much laughs at enemy magic users anyway, so she won't really need this skill to stay alive. Using a Heart Seal, Elise can promote into a Wyvern Rider. While this may sound utterly terrible, she can make this work if you can obtain the Bolt Axe, which she can utilize very well with her high magic. Not to mention, Malignite Elise can be an absolute terror on the battlefield with tomes. However, doing so you deprive yourself of an amazing healer, so while it can be fun, this is not a recommended option. As a mother, Elise passes down her insane magic, not to mention great speed, luck, and resistance, so she is a viable choice for any magic or staff-wielding child, like Ophelia, Dwyer, Mitama, or Erīze. And she can also pass down some amazing support skills as well, so keep this in mind. Just make sure she doesn't become the mother of a physical unit, as her 5% strength growth is not a good gift to pass down. At the end of the day, I consider Elise to be one of the most useful royals due to her insanely good availability and supporting skill set. She's one of those units that are simply too useful not to field most of the time, as she will make everyone around her better. Take good care of her, and this adorable cinnamon roll will serve you well.
This was so much fun! We should play together more often!
Thank you for watching this character spotlight. If you want to watch more spotlights, you can click the link on the screen to visit my playlists, and there you will find all the previous spotlights I've done. If there is a specific character you'd like to see me cover in a future spotlight, let me know in the comment section below. If you found this particular spotlight entertaining, please give this video a like and a comment, it really helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to be updated whenever I release future videos, you can subscribe. As always, my name has been Manx, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.